is true, but I am here. I was actually getting annoyed over something on Twitter, as usual. And I will tell you guys what it's about. We'll also talk a little bit about the elections. I don't think I actually made a stream where I talked about politics in a while. I mean, like, specifically about how to run a nation. You know, like, we did talk about certain things that I see which are weird, annoying, or funny, but to actually talk about the Trump campaign, to talk about J.D. Vance, no, I don't think I did that in a long time on a stream. Thank you, Zedif, for the sponsorship. I appreciate it. Anyway, right. This is something that annoys me, right? So it's not political. I mean, it can be considered political because now almost everything is, but it's not tied to the presidential candidates. Apparently, they're changing the definition for grades again. I'm really glad that when I was a kid, I didn't catch this cancer. My God, it's something that came from the West. And I really dislike when Romanians do this. We had communism, and it was bad. But we glorify everything that happens in the West. Like the West is this mythical place where everything is right, everything is fine, people are rich, everyone is doing great. So we should emulate what they're doing without asking whether or not it's worth emulating. And this is one of those things. When it comes to school, we used to have grades from 1 to 10, right? So 1 was shit. Usually you would get it if you copied, if you cheated. And the maximum grade was 10. But for some fucking reason, they looked at America and was like, no, this can actually hurt the fifis of some kids. You know, like if you get 4 or a 5, it makes you feel hurt. So we should actually change it with A, B, C, you know, like just not make it a grade. Just make it a number. Not make it a number, because the guy that gets 6 may feel inferior to the person that got a 7, which, by the way, is actually the point. But now that they're actually not fine with ABCF, they want to call it extending, proficient, developing, and emerging, and I think in my country it does the same. So why exactly do I find it annoying? Well, the first reason is, why do you go to school? I hated school. I believe that I wasted years of my life, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to get my son to waste years of his life as well. But is it worth it? And the answer is, well, you go to school in order to develop skills, in order to develop teamwork, in order to learn math, in order to be able to think for yourself, allegedly. And is this thing actually going to improve that or not? Like, no one is asking the question, okay, so if you change the grades with extending, proficient, developing, blah, 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 are you actually improving the system? Like, are you actually making kids smarter or not? Because the idea is to protect them from suffering, right? Like, well, in this case, it's not even physical suffering. It's not even, like, inconvenience, I guess. It's to protect them from inconveniencing. Because you go to school, you get a 7, and the other kid gets an 8, so you're jealous, right? Like, you don't feel good about yourself because the other kid got a bigger grade. That's the problem. And we shouldn't do that. And my question is, like, why shouldn't we? Why? Because it actually motivated me to study harder. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, competition is something that you learn in school. And competition is important because in your entire life, you're going to compete. You're going to compete in order to get the significant other you like. You're going to compete to get a job. You're going to compete at the workplace in order to get a promotion. You're constantly competing. So, like, why are you removing the spirit of competition from things when people should get used to competing? Like, here's the thing, right? Like, when you're young and you're competing and you get a 7 instead of an 8, there's no harm there. It's like, okay, you got a bad grade. Well, better luck next time, right? But if you're competing for a promotion and you don't get it, well, you must wait probably like 2 more years until another position opens up. So, like, you should learn how to be competitive and at the same time maintain the spirit of competition. But no, we can't have that. We can't have that because we need to live in a world where, again, no inconvenience should exist. Everything that causes even like the smallest amount of sniffles has to be banned. And I don't know if it's actually beneficial, as I said. Because adversity does build strength. Like, if you live coddled, eventually you're going to stop being coddled, right? Like, you go to the workplace and you want to get a promotion, and someone else is going to get it. I mean, you're going to suffer, right? Like, now, if you don't know how to manage that, yeah, it's like kids have to experience a wide range of emotions. Sadness, being upset, is also part of that wide range. You need to learn how to control. Like, what do you do when you're sad? How do you fix that? How do you cope? The whole system is designed for people not to improve themselves. Not to find out, okay, what are your limits and how can you break them? V, where is mail? Also, the CPR avoidance woman thing has been a thing in America since 2017, 2018. Mr. Ors is not here. He hasn't responded today, so I hope he's okay. The thing with him is, like, sometimes he can appear, sometimes he can't. If he has family coming over, he is unable to help me co-host. You didn't get as high score as your classmate. You should try harder. Excuse me, teacher. You're confusing me for someone who gives a shit. I actually did have, like, moments like that where I did give a lot of sass to teachers. Oh, Lordy, wake up. A new Kabbalah accent just dropped. I heard it, yes. I don't think this is about Marxism. This is actually something that started in the early 2000s when everyone should get a trophy, right? So, like, you'd have a competition, and the idea was, like, we should reward people for participating. And I'm like, why? Why should you reward someone for participating? Why should you get a medal for participating? You shouldn't. You should try harder if you really want that medal. You know, like there's two reasons for it. Actually, I like giving examples from World of Warcraft. I'm cringe like that, but it's so true. So World of Warcraft had the exact same issue. You needed to struggle hard in order to finish the original game content. Like, if you play Vanilla, if you played Burning Crusade, you needed to fight really hard in order to get into raiding. Like, you needed to get into a good guild. You would apply to it like a job. And then, once you got into the guild, you needed to show to raids on time, and you needed to read the boss strategy. It was a lot of effort. It was a very time-consuming game. But it was very rewarding once you finally got some of that Naxxramas gear, right? Like, no one on the server had it. You'd go out there, everyone would look at you. Everyone was like, wow, that's so cool. And what ends up happening is that by Wrath of the Lich King, the developers give welfare items. Like, they lower the difficulty of raids, and they put the same looking items in the lower raids, because now you have, like, a normal mode and a hard mode. And the normal mode is just, like, the easiest thing ever. So, like, everyone completes it. And now everyone has, like, the end game's item in the game. You just, there's no more difficulty. Everyone is looking exactly the same, like a uniform. Whether you play the game properly or not, you're still going to end in the same spot, right? So, what ends up happening is the people that were raiding and they were putting the effort, all of a sudden don't feel like it. Because, like, well, there's no reward. I mean, if everyone has the same reward, what's the point? Like, why should I work harder when I can get it anyway? And it's very demoralizing for the people that are at the top. Like you stop creating people that want excellence. Because there's no point in getting excellence. Everyone is the same. Hello, V. One of my moderators informed me you are trash-talking my platform, so I banned your Twitch account. What the fuck? The CEO of Twitch is in my chat. I'm going to transition. How about that? You know, I'm going to transition, and I'm going to stop shit-talking your platform, and hopefully the ban will be lifted. V, the whole point of school is to learn the LGBTs, but government wants to crack down on freedom and ban people from homeschooling and take kids away. Unfortunately, if you look at governments, they thing. Okay, we're back. Yeah, a lot of totalitarian governments have used the school system as an indoctrination method, right? Because they realize, well, we actually do have control of the schools. Like, we are the ones that pay the teachers, and we're the ones that set the curriculum. So we can basically say whatever we want. And communists did that. The Nazis did that. Like, the school stops being about teaching people to do like a proper job and teaching them useful skills, and it's more about indoctrinating them. It's really sad, but it is what it is. American Outlier, thank you for the $20. Hi V, this sounds Bush No Child Left Behind on steroids. This is the reason I dropped out and got a GED. See, I don't even know what that means, GED. Although I was in AP classes and doing great. I also don't know what AP means. Like, dude, it's a different country, but I'm pretty sure the other subscribers know. Until the act, then it felt like school was on a molasses time. You know what I noticed? When I went to law school, initially I went to a private university. So my first year was at a private university. And I thought it's a good university, but it turns out it wasn't. Like, it was supposed to have some of the best professors in my town. But they wouldn't show up. Like, they would get paid, but they never came to classes. They were basically, like, stealing money, pretty much. Most students didn't complain because they were like, well, there's no teacher. Yay, like, we can do whatever we want. But I didn't like that. I actually wanted to study. So like, when I was in my first year of law school, I didn't take really good grades because I didn't feel motivated. I was, like, the top of my class. I was, like, with 8s and 9s, but, like, was kind of not to the level that I wanted to be. So I transferred to the state university, which allegedly was a lot less prestigious, but you actually learned a lot more than at the private university. And when I went to the private university, like, everyone in my class was studying really hard. Like, everyone was actually learning, everyone was studying. And all of a sudden, I felt like studying too, because if the professor would come up and they would ask someone a question and they knew the answer, and they would ask someone else a question and they knew the answer, and then they would ask me, and I didn't know, I felt like a jackass. So this is what happens when you motivate people. I mean, yeah, if it wasn't for the suffering, quote unquote, if it wasn't for, like, being asked questions and not know the answer while everyone else did, I wouldn't have decided to study harder. So it's actually a thing when you encourage competition, when you encourage people to better themselves. My multimedia lecturer couldn't mark my director presentation because he didn't understand it. Had to get another lecturer to pass or fail me. Jesus. Not a coincidence that public schools become more popular with the advent of nationalism. Well, from what I saw in America, the biggest issue, at least from what I'm seeing on Twitter, like, I don't know if this is actually what's happening in real life. I don't know how many schools are like that, but I've seen cases where students disrespect the teacher, where students beat up the teacher. Like, this is unthinkable in my country, but, like, there was a case with that student that got his Nintendo confiscated, and then he beat up the teacher. He beat up the teacher. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And not only that, it's the culture, right? Because when the teacher filed a complaint and basically said that, yeah, she has been hospitalized and she wants the cops to deal with this, so she was pressing charges, I saw like 4 or 5 Karens on Twitter saying that, oh, he is but a child. He was 17, by the way. He was but a child and he's got autism, so, like, you shouldn't be harsh on... He hospitalized his teacher. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, if you don't punish him, what would he think? What would his friends think? What would other students think? Are you mental? Like, if you don't punish someone for hospitalizing the teacher, when do you punish? Like, what exactly does the but a child have to do in order to get punished? Like, okay, set fire to the school? Like what level are we talking about? It's like, oh, he's got autism. He's but a child. He didn't know what he was doing. So, like, he was hospitalizing the teacher, and basically he should get a slap on the wrist. It's like, what the fuck? You know, it is the culture. That's the problem. Now, if you're in a situation where the kids lack so much discipline to the point where they even think about it. Like, my God, I can't even say that my generation, like no one from my generation, and there were like 1,000, maybe like 900 students in the entire school. It was a big high school. Not a single one even had like the remote idea that it would be acceptable to raise their hands at a teacher, let alone like hospitalize them, right? Like just like something that was beyond unthinkable. Like there was nothing that the teacher could have done to justify anyone raising their hand. Anyway, right? So, if you're in a situation where the kids are this unruly, there is no teacher on earth that can teach them anything. Like, if they don't respect the teacher, you can get Albert Einstein to try to teach them physics. They will not learn. You can get the most gifted teacher in the world. You can get someone that's got a lot of charisma and riz. They're not going to learn. My school had a race riot. Okay. Okay. Jesus. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. You gotta understand, I'm from Eastern Europe. When you say these things, it's like, what the fuck? Teachers do get beat up in Romania. It's rare, but it happens. I have heard of it. Like, there have been national news, but it's like once every 20 years or so. But I keep seeing like stuff on TikTok almost on a monthly basis. Not all teachers are good teachers. It doesn't matter how bad the teacher is. There is no justification for a student to attack. Like, unless it's self-defense. Okay, fine. Like, if it's self-defense, that's different. Anyway. Let me talk to you about the Biden-Harris campaign, because something absolutely magical happened, and I'll probably talk about it on my main channel as well, because I was just taken aback. So, if you haven't followed Kamala Harris's speeches, they're pretty similar one to another. It's usually... She's going to start off talking a little bit about Donald Trump and why he is bad. She may fake an accent, and then she's going to be talking about abortions. This is literally the main talking point. It's not the economy. It's not policies. It's literally, like, as I said, the cornerstone, the bedrock of America right now is the cat lady. Like, every single time you see something bad happening... You know, maybe a foreign war, maybe the economy is shit. They do it for her. They do it for the cat lady. Like, this is consistently the Democrats have decided that this is who their voting base is, and the cat lady is number one at all times. This is why they got upset on J.D. Vance when he talked about cat ladies, right? Like, you can talk about illegals. You can talk about anything else. You can talk about criminals, but don't you dare talk about the cat lady, because that is the power. It's, the Green Lantern that the Democrats sip their energy from, right? The cat ladies. So because of that, like, everything gravitates around the cat lady. And I even saw Tim Wall, Kamala's vice running mate. He was like, men, why should you vote for us? Because you have women in your life. You have wives and daughters, and maybe they need abortions. I'm not kidding. Like, the level of disconnect is just, wow. Fuck. They literally cannot appeal to straight white men. And from what I understand, the reason they can't do it is because someone came out from their campaign and basically said, there's no one representing this demographic within Biden-Harris's consultants. Like, they may have, like, some LGBT men, they may have, like, some men that are over the age of 40, but they have very few, if any, consultants that are, like, just straight white men. Under the age of 40. They just don't have that. So they don't know how to reach. Like, it's... But anyway, right, so they have like this. I just want you to see how bizarre it is. So they got like all these doctors on stage. Look at how many doctors. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like an army of doctors. All of them are for abortions, right? Like all of them are pro-choice. Okay. Here's a question, chat. Would you feel safe being in this crowd? Like, let's say you're feeling sick. Would you say, well, this is the best place to be? Because, like, there's 20 doctors around. You know, it's not as good as a hospital because maybe they don't have the gear. But, like, if someone is feeling sick, they're like 20 fucking doctors, right? Like, at least one of them is going to take care of you.
Women are unnecessarily becoming ill and dying.
Apparently, one of them actually did. Not dying, but they become ill.
Nationwide, I think someone needs some medical assistance over here.
You can't make this shit up, Chad. Like, this is the funniest shit that I have ever seen. And I finished med school. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. There is no fucking what the fuck? You know, like, look at this.
To put it...
There's like so many angles on this, and there's like one of the doctors, like they're peeking, they're looking, you know. I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to explain this because like, no, this is interesting. Like, no, you gotta rationalize this somehow. Like, help me make sense of it. And the first one was, okay, maybe it's the insurance companies. Right? Because apparently in America, everything is around insurance. And this is why, like, a lot of doctors pretend that they're not doctors if they're on a plane and someone gets sick, right? Because, like, if you don't have the insurance, it doesn't cover you. Like okay, I didn't really understand the whole situation. Like, someone explained it to me. But even then, even if that's the fucking case, if you have 15 doctors, one of them is going to be like, fuck the insurance. I'm going to go and help. At least, like, while the cameras are rolling. Jesus Christ. Like, let's assume, no, seriously, like, let's assume you get into an insurance problem. And you save someone on camera, live on television. You're going to get so many donations that the insurance wouldn't be able to cover you. Like, you're going to get more donations than you're going to get coverage in insurance. It's fucking insane. Okay, let me just tell you how the Eastern European brain works. Let's say you're in a hospital as a surgeon in Romania, and you're the only one. Maybe it's like 2 a.m. during the night, and the nurse calls you, and she says that there's a guy with compartmental syndrome. Compartmental syndrome means that something dropped on his foot. Like, let's say he had a motorcycle accident, and now there's internal bleeding in his foot. And it's pressing against his muscles. It's destroying his cartilages. Like, you need to operate right away or he can lose his foot or die. Now, according to when I was in the hospital, I don't know if they changed the protocol. I hope they changed it. You weren't supposed to operate for this unless you had like a vascular surgeon next to you, right? So it's like a specialized profession. Now you need the vascular surgeon. Do you think doctors, when hearing that someone's life was in danger, they gave a fuck? If there was no such surgeon, they would operate regardless. And by the way, they were taking a lot of risks. Because the patient can sue even if they're fine. There have been cases, you know, like you do the job, they can walk again, but maybe they're an asshole. Maybe they talk to a lawyer and they're like, oh, you know what? They did operate on you, but they didn't do it better. Or maybe, you know, he loses a little bit of feeling in his leg or whatever the fuck. But like, the idea was like, no, you need to save the life. Fuck the protocol. You need to save the life. Apparently, that's not what happened in the United States at the Kamala Harris's rally. Will Romania reject a fascist American president? No. America is America. It's our strategic ally overseas. It doesn't matter who's going to be president. Will Trump give Ukraine, Poland, Romania to Russia? No. I don't think Russia can even take Ukraine. Like the idea that Russia is struggling with Ukraine and they're going to be able to take Poland is just mind-numbing. Like, let's assume there would be no NATO. Motherfucker, you can't take Ukraine. Shut the fuck up. I guarantee to you, if Poland was attacked, they would get a lot more help than Ukraine does. Like all the Eastern European neighbors would immediately start sending troops and shit. So no. Anyway, right. The other explanation is that all the doctors were stand-in, and I kind of believe that, to be honest. Like it is a possibility, and I'll tell you why. You need to be a doctor to know this. Why are they wearing the lab coats? There is no fucking reason whatsoever that they would be wearing lab coats outside of the lab. The very purpose of the lab coat is that it's dirty. You're wearing it in the hospital where there's germs and diseases. You're wearing it to cover your street clothing so that when you come home, it's less likely that you bring the infectious diseases to your house. Obviously, it's not 100% proof, but it's better than nothing, right? And it's white for many reasons. It used to be black, but apparently it caused emotional distress to the patients by seeing an army of black people just coming around while they were dying. Didn't work. So now it's white. And actually, like at pediatrics, you had various colors and shit. But the purpose is to show that it's clean, right? Like, you wash it. That's why it's white. Because, like, if it's dirty, you immediately spot, and it looks bad as a profession. But there is no reason why doctors would wear the lab coat anywhere else. Why do they have their stethoscopes with them? They're not in the hospital. Apparently, when someone gets sick, they're not putting the stethoscope on their ass in order to figure out if they're breathing. You know, it's like, what? Why? Nothing makes sense. Which begs the question, like, were they really that incapable in finding a couple of doctors that were legit and they were capable of just having the correct speech? It wouldn't surprise me if they're stand-ins. So, like, there's two possibilities. Like, there's nothing. Number one, they're stand-ins, and it would explain why none of them rushed to help. Number two is the insurance shit. But if it's the insurance shit, out of 20 doctors, one of them would have been, fuck the insurance, I'm going to help. Someone suggested, well, maybe, like, they're of a different profession. Like, I don't know what it's like in the US. In Romania, you have to be a gynecologist in order to do abortions. Like, I don't know if in the US they have, like, an abortionist or, like, a different profession for this. But, let's assume that they only do abortions. They don't know how to save lives. You know, they don't know how to give first... Bullshit! You learn from med school how to give first aid. It's like, I think it's like second year. And then you do it again 4th year, and you do it again 5th year, and 6th year. Like there were like at least 3, if not 4 different courses that told us how to give first aid. I mean, we learned first aid at cardiology. We learned first aid at semiology. We learned first aid in the 2nd year. Like there was an optional course that you can take, which was literally called first aid. That one went more in depth. And they go in depth. It's like, what do you do if it's a baby? What do you do if it's a child? What do you do if it's a grown person? What do you do if they choke? What do you do if they just fall unconscious? And you know, like, you gotta say the steps. I still remember them after all these years. Like, if you find a person unconscious, the first thing you do, number 1, make absolutely sure that the area is safe. Because you don't want to end up next to the other person, right? So, like, why is he unconscious? Is there an electric cable? Are there fumes? Is there, like, right? Like, you need to make sure that the area is safe before giving first aid, because otherwise the next guy that comes in is going to have to give first aid to 2 people rather than 1. So after you make sure, you need to check and see, was the person just falling from his feet? Like, is it an elderly person that was exposed to the sun for too long, or they had a stroke? Or did they have a car crash? Or did they fell from a building? If they fell from a building or they had a car crash, do not move the person. Because his spine may have injury. So if you move him, you may end up paralyzing him. Right? After that, you check the airways. You look around, you ask a person to call 911. And while the ambulance is coming, if he's not breathing, you start doing the CPR. And after that, after you make sure that he started breathing again, you put him in a sideways position, because if he pukes, you don't want him to choke. You learn this thing, like it's been What? Like more than 7 years, and I still know all the steps. Every single one of them. It's like, fuck off. There is no such thing. It's like, oh, well, they're a different profession. It's a shame on the medical career if they're a different profession and don't know how to give first aid. Did you see the Dev Copium about the Canadian government investigating themselves and finding nothing wrong? Man, I wish I could do that. You know, like every single time you're accused of a crime, you should be able to investigate yourself, and if it's nothing wrong, you should be let alone. Reigning Terror, Dev will also investigate himself and find nothing wrong. It will be considered with the non-existent trucker video. My fucking god, didn't he like release a Trump video that was like 4, if not 5 hours? Like that is what you do when you don't want people to respond to your video. I'm telling you this as a content creator, right? Like this was in the era of response videos, and I think like Dev was alive during that time. I don't know if he actually did response videos back and forth. But like this was a tactic. If you wanted to make a response video and have the last word, you would make it like 1 or 2 hours long. You would never make it 4. Like that is just fucking insane. Jesus Christ. But then no one can respond to you, right? Because I don't trust doctors who murder babies. You don't have to trust them unless you go there with a baby, right? Like, it's literally what they do. They don't do other things. Apparently, they don't even give first aid. The thing with first aid, like, you don't even need to be a doctor in order to know how to give first aid. Just so you know, in my country, if you want to take a driving license, right, you got to pass the driving test. And in the driving test, you got to learn first aid. Like, literally everyone should know how to give first aid. It's like... By the way, fun fact, as I made on my channel, it's like men don't want to give first aid because they can touch titty. Apparently, giving mouth to mouth makes a lot of people unwilling to give first aid, and I kind of understand that. See, a lot of people imagine that giving mouth to mouth is like the perfect situation, where you just find like a random bloke and you give him mouth to mouth. It's no biggie, right? Well, reality is not like that. He can actually have blood on his lips. Like if he's in a car crash or something, right? Because like most people who need CPR, they probably been injured. A lot of people don't want to touch blood, and I don't blame them. And then you also have like various smells. Like if the person is drunk, if the person ate garlic, if the person has cavities, right? So what they discovered is that if you tell people you don't have to give mouth to mouth, just do the compressions, they're more likely to give the CPR. Like optimally you should give mouth to mouth, but if it's between not doing anything or just doing the compressions, you should do the compressions. Yeah, mouths are gross, yes. I got a driving license and don't know shit about the first aid. It's not that difficult, I just told you. Just explained all the steps. I don't want to taste someone's vomit. Yeah, like that's another thing. They could have vomited, right? So no, just do the compressions. Like if you don't feel like doing the mouth to mouth and you're feeling like doing nothing, then at least do the compressions. If a doctor is speaking about politics, just ignore him. Oh. It's a blurry line between public health and politics, isn't it? Final Fantasy Rebirth had the CPR gag, and it's referencing an overactive Gen Z teenager thought Cloud was a pervert for trying to save her life. The thing is, like, I will tell you, giving first aid can actually be misinterpreted in a lot of situations. Let's say you're driving and you're the one that bumps into someone, right? You're the one creating the crash. And you go and you give first aid to the person you just injured. When they wake up, do you think they're going to be happy to see you? Even though you saved their life, you're also the one that placed them in that position, right? You can be sued. There have been cases. Let's say you're giving first aid to an old lady with osteoporosis and you break a rib or something like that, right? You saved her life, but you broke a rib. Now she goes home and she's in agony. She's talking to her family. They're talking to a lawyer, and they're like, "Yeah, I mean, he did save your life, but maybe he shouldn't have broken your limb. Maybe if he was performing it differently." And then you're summoned to court. You don't like that, right? There's many reasons why people can actually, like, why being a good Samaritan can backfire. In a perfect society, it shouldn't be. But the reality is what the reality is. So I understand why some people are skittish about giving first aid. But you still should do it. Take one for the team, because you don't know if you're going to need it or if your friends or family are going to need it, right? It can happen to anyone. You can be in a car crash. You can walk on the street and something just drops onto your head, or you can have a stroke, right? You do wish that other people would be considerate to you. My state has good Samaritan laws that generally stop being able to sue. Well, that's a good thing to hear. I just broke 6 ribs in a bike accident. It's uncomfortable, but I wouldn't say the word agony. It depends how you break them. Like if when you break them, you actually hit one of those intercostal nerves. Oh, goodness. Ugh. Or if you break them in 2 places, like the same rib in 2 places, right? So it really depends. V, would you rather be a patient in the worst hospital in Romania or a decent hospital in the middle of the bluest part of California that know your opinions on American politics? I don't know, probably in California, because I know how, like, the worst hospitals in my country look like. I don't know how the Californian hospitals look like, to be honest. Because, like, the Romanian hospitals actually improved a lot. But you're saying the worst hospital in Romania. So, like, there's rural areas, there's places with no electricity. It depends. Shalom V, Shalom Sivrus. Yeah, no. If the lungs are punctured, then that's not a broken rib. I mean, it is a broken rib, but we're not. That's an added thing, right? Like, we're not talking about added complications. We're just talking about broken ribs, not lung puncture. Jeez. Then you go into pneumothorax. No, actually, hold on. Hemothorax, it's called. Yeah, hemothorax, because you got blood in your lung. It's an emergency. Right, so people are really bewildered, and it finally happens. There was a while when this was the thing, but it's becoming more and more of a thing, and the Democrats are freaking out. I've been following politics for years, and I've still not seen any young man articulate what exactly they wanted from either party that either was some insane and impossible incel fantasy or fear or something that doesn't exist, like being drafted. And I see many women like this. Like, the way they're responding to this graph is by further insulting young men and then wondering, well, why don't young men vote for us? You pay piggy? You naughty pay piggy? How dare you go away from me? You not know who I am? You need to keep giving me your money, you pay piggy, you awful man, you know? I'm sure, like, some men are like that, and they probably still vote Democrat. But their, what was it, their girlfriend's boyfriend? Yeah, their wife's boyfriend, they still vote Republican. Naughty pay pig. Why don't you vote Kamala? Vote Kamala, you're a disgusting human being, aren't you? You sick pay pig, you. You're just a gunner. You go with the gunners in the Republican Party. By the way, I'm not the one to talk about this, but it's starting to get a little bit obnoxious on Twitter. Like, literally anyone that has a healthy sex drive is a gooner now. Unless you're into some queer shit. Unless you're, like, into LGBT stuff or you got, like, a pride flag or something. If you just look at Stellar Blade like a fully clothed woman, you're a gooner. Goonerisms. It's like... Do you not know that the Victoria's Secret catalog used to be a thing back in the day? Like Playboy magazine and shit, you know, like finding your dad's Playboy paper. Was that not a thing in your country? It was a thing in my country. Every single month, like someone would have found their dad's collection, and they would bring it to the playground, and all of us were like, "Wow!" Did you guys have that experience growing up, or was Romania just a weird place? No, they just don't like the male gaze, I think. Like, the male gaze is now gunier. And they're trying to shame people on the internet. It's like, dude, you're just letters on a screen. You can't say shit. You can shame someone in real life, but over the internet. And, you know, like, you can shame someone if they're into some, like, nasty stuff. Okay, fine. I get that. My troll died. Battery on the phone. Like, you can't shame someone if they're into some nasty stuff, but, like, if it's someone that just likes a woman in risque clothing, like they happen to like Lady Dimitrescu, like the Flash content creator, the Flash, said that he likes the mod where Lady Dimitrescu is in her bikini, and then immediately like, oh, you gooner, you gooner. No, he just has a normal sex drive. My favorite take is, if you like it, you're an incel, and if you tell them that you're in a relationship, it's like, well, if you're in a relationship, why do you like Lady Dimitrescu? It's like, because he's not castrated, and I don't think he's going to cheat on his wife with Lady Dimitrescu. Right? Like when you get in a relationship, you're not castrated. You still like looking at women. Because he's a man. He's got testosterone. Now, of course, you know, like, there's a difference between, like, admiring one picture and saying, wow, this picture is hot, versus, like, the entire timeline being filled with that shit. I get it. But, like, just saying that, oh, this picture is hot, it's like, okay, but it's hot. Like, I know very well what the young men want. It's just that those pesky VTubers keep stealing viewers from my OnlyFans models. Oh, God. Do you know that most OnlyFans subscribers are married men? Like, when I found that out, I was, like, first bewildered. Then it was like, well, it kind of makes sense, because I guess in order to be a simp, you need to have money, so. But V, don't you try to shame these kind of people in turn? Why can't you be tolerant, for instance? Well, yeah, it's called self-defense. I mean, I generally don't have a problem with them if they shut the fuck up. You know, like, if they just mind their own business and enjoy their Dragon Age fantasy and their Baldur's Gate and their has-been hotel shit, if they do that, I leave them alone. They're the ones that are coming up to me. To be fair, the tolerant thing is tongue-in-cheek, but I would actually tell them it would be a severe violation of TOS. Like, if I was to actually speak my mind, what I think about a person that has their entire timeline filled with queer stuff and queer paraphernalia, and they go around and they act all shocked because this game, like Stellar Blade, exists, if I was to tell them what I genuinely think, oh my goodness. Goodness gracious, chat. PewDiePie and the Bridge incident would pale in comparison. If there was no filter, the things I would say, chat. There was no filter. Oh. My words would crush their souls. Like my favorite thing. Okay, right. So let me tell you what I just found. Why I'm even bringing this up? Because, like, you guys need context, right? You don't follow me on Twitter, so you don't know what really sparks my anger. There's this mod which came out, and a lot of people like it's Lady Dimitrescu in underwear and a bra, right? So she's like in a swimming suit. I mean, it's very risque, right? But it's not pornographic. Like, she's not having sex. There's no penetration. There's no It's just like her in a bikini. I think I found it. I can't even show it on YouTube. It's not. And Flash goes, God bless PC gaming. Right? It's like, this is now becoming the counterculture. And the reason is the counterculture is to see this reaction. Right? Like, this is not as impressive as this. Like, the reaction is what fascinates me. So you just have a mod which puts Lady Dimitrescu in risque clothing. But again, like you get to see women like this on fashion television. Like, mainstream fashion television. It's, right? There's no nudity. There's no nipple. It's like, you get to see them in fucking hip-hop music videos. And this is the reaction, right? Men shouldn't be allowed within 100 feet of Lady Dimitrescu. Men are porn-obsessed freaks, right? Like, just by having a normal sex drive. Like, it's impossible if you're a straight man and you see any type of woman that's in risque clothing to not admire that. Like, I'm sorry, unless you're gay, which is fine, you know, but that would be the explanation. But we're talking about straight men, right? Like, if you're a straight man, there's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't say, yeah, no, this looks good. And it's not like masturbatory. It's just like, it looks good. Like, it's visually, aesthetically pleasing. It actually genuinely looks good. And this is the same person, right? Like, I want her to choke and slam me. And these are like the people that are shaming others. And then you're asking, well, why can't you be tolerant? Like, if this is what you're into, why do you go around and you shame others? And the reason they're shaming is because of the male gaze, right? Like, they were told by their university professor that the male gaze is hurting people. And men shouldn't have a sex drive unless they're gay. And they're very subversive. Like, that's the problem, you know? If these were, like, religious individuals that were, like, Amish or something, and they're like, well, this is too spicy for us, you know, or they're Muslims and this is haram, I would have more respect for that because at least they would be consistent. They're against degeneracy. I get it. Fine. But these people aren't against, they are for degeneracy. Like, you go on their timeline, it's an altar of degeneracy. Like, just so you understand, there was another person that also called Flash a gooner. And Flash is a married man, by the way. And there's nothing wrong with having, like, a normal, healthy sex drive and him saying, yeah, you know, this looks good. Because it does look good. I can't disagree, right? He's not saying, oh, I would ram her. No, he's just like, well, this is a good picture. There's this interesting person calls Flash a gooner. So I'm going on their timeline. I'm curious. Okay, well, let's see who they are. Turns out that they're a woman that transitioned into a man that does cosplay as a twink and has an OnlyFans. And I can't make this up at this point. It's like, come on, really? Like... How would you react, chat? Like, what would you do in this particular scenario? You know, like, you see it, it's in front of you, and you gotta say something. Like, what exactly can you say at that point? And it's like, it's public what they're into. Like, come on. And you know, they're trying to shame someone. And I'm like, dude, you don't have the moral high ground, you got the moral hole. You're in the moral hole. Like, come on, at least get out of the hole. I'm not even asking you to be on the high ground, but at least be at the same level. You know, get out of the hole. Oh yeah, there was another one. I was basically talking about Nikkei. Like this is the only reason I like to post lewd stuff in order to trigger these people. Because it's like their reaction is the hilarity. It's not the shit that I'm posting. You know, I'm posting a Nikkei with big tits in a dress. And they freak out. And to me, this is funny. It's literally why I decided making my video game. I kid you not. Like, I was sick and tired of talking about AAA gaming characters that look like men in wigs. And they call them women. And it's fine, like, if you put a trans character in the game, but, like, be honest about it. Don't give me a female character that's literally like a man in a wig, and then get upset when I don't like it. And they kept telling me, Oh, you just want to watch porn. You just want to be a gooner. If you don't like it, make your own. Fine. Fine, I'll make my fucking own. That's okay. I'll make my own. And they absolutely hate it, chat. They absolutely hated that I'm making my own. But I can't show you the troll because my phone battery died. It's not even degeneracy. Like, look, let me put it this way. If it was okay when I was growing up, it should be okay now. Alright? Like, Victoria's Secret catalog. A woman that's in risque clothing. I'm sorry, but even God likes that. Even the Pope. The fucking Pope, chat. Do you guys remember? You can Google it. The Pope actually liked an OnlyFans girl. Like, he liked the Instagram page of an OnlyFans girl, and she was fully clothed, but she had some massive tits. If the Pope likes it, then fuck off. You're not more Catholic than the Pope. Hold on, let me see the actual news. Pope likes he actually liked it twice. Oh, she didn't, she was Brazilian. BBC isn't showing it, but she had a nice ass. Pope Francis, Vatican, investigates Brazilian model Instagram photo. It's unclear when the account liked the image of Natalia Gariboto, who was dressed up in a school uniform outfit. Oh, Dios mío. Oh, Pope Francis. What are you doing? You know, a lot of people on Twitter don't like it if she wears the schoolgirl outfit. But what I never understand is, like, why don't they go after the companies that make school uniform outfits for adults? Because apparently it's an industry. Like, you need to have people buying these things quite significantly in order to justify why you're selling it, right? Because you don't have to custom order a schoolgirl uniform outfit for an adult woman. It's something that is probably sold so often that there is a market for it. Yeah, people on Twitter. See, if they knew capitalism, they would be more horrified. News outlets first started reporting the move last Friday before the image was unliked. Oh, he liked it and then he unliked it. Vatican officials are now investigating. The papal press office told that, as far as we know, the like did not come from the Holy See. The Vatican was working with Instagram to establish where it came from. The Pope's official Instagram account, which is under the username Franciscus, has 7.4 million followers. Jesus, only 7.4 million followers? Wow, that's sad. You know, I'm not going to call him a gooner. The man has a sex drive. Leave him alone. As long as he doesn't do anything in real life, he's allowed to watch. I know it's a sin, but hey, you know, like, God forgives if you truly mean it. If you ask for redemption, God will forgive. He will be like, God, I am sorry. I know better, but the flesh is weak. The spirit is strong, but the flesh is weak. This is not the first time that it happens, by the way. Like, apparently he liked another model after that. Which at that point, I just think he is trolling. I just think he is trolling. My phone battery died. I'm still here. Oh, the F slur was, yeah. The F slur was beautiful. You know, you can definitely tell that the Pope is straight. I mean, come on, he's not the first Pope to mess it out. Oh, if you look at the history of the Catholic Church, absolutely not. I mean, to be fair, you know, you gotta put the person in the time we're living it. I mean, you got La Cocaína in the White House and the boot sex in the Senate. So, compared to that, you know, the Catholic Pope just giving a like to an Instagram model with a plum pass and a schoolgirl uniform. I don't know. Is it really that bad? I mean, it's not cocaine, right? And it's not boot sex in the Senate, so I'm going to Romania. What should I eat? Okay, listen here, you bigot. This, write it down. I'm fucking just look, just write it down. I'm not writing this for myself, by the way. I want you to write it the fuck down. There you go. See, it wasn't even a super chat. And I still answer. Yeah. Do we have anything else? You know, I could actually tell you to eat something gross. I actually know Japanese. Oh yeah, almost forgot. I actually speak with Japanese people now, and they told me that they really dislike tourists, and they also like to play jokes on foreigners. And one of the ways they do it is that they have certain restaurants that have traditional Japanese menus that are so fucking disgusting that even Japanese people don't eat them. But they have them on the menu because, I don't know, like culture and shit. Something with raw chicken, like a type of I'll have to ask again. But anyway, he told me it's absolutely disgusting and vile. And in Japan, like, one of the things that you're not supposed to do is to complain about the food. Like, there has been YouTubers that got canceled because they gave negative reviews to restaurants, so it's like a cultural thing there. And they bring you to that place, the restaurant, and they give you like the worst food imaginable. And they're basically like taking the piss out of you because they're asking, is it delicious? It's delicious. And as you're eating that raw chicken, you gotta pretend that, yeah. Yeah, apparently Johnny Somali got beaten up again. How many times? And it's not just Johnny Somali. There's like the other streamer. The one that I actually like. I forgot his name. Jack Doherty. Jack Doherty also got in trouble. He got kicked off a cruise ship. And people were cheering. And it didn't make him very happy. Look at this.
Back to fuck. It's too bad.
Say go fuck yourself.
Hey, dumbasses! I have a private jet back to fucking Florida tomorrow. Who gives a fuck? I could not care less. You guys have to get 24 hours on that shit to get home. I got an hour flight on a PJ. I can bring drugs on it, whatever the fuck I want.
Doesn't look very happy, Chad. He doesn't look very happy about the situation. If you don't know who Jack Doherty is, he's my favorite streamer. I'm not even kidding. Like, he's pure entertainment. Let me see if I can find it again. I think I'm showing it like almost every single stream now. Like, this is art. I'm going to show it to my kid when he grows and he stops being a minor. Like, when he's 18, I'm going to show him. It's like, let me show you the hero that helped me grow. The man that made my childhood great, Jack Doherty. Truly an inspiration. Look here.
Where we at? What? Well, Prompt, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, Prompt? Yeah.
You know who he reminds me of? You know who he reminds me of, chat? Richie Rich. Huh? It's like the adventures of Richie Rich. It's the Richie Rich of the new generation. If you don't know about Richie Rich, you need to go on YouTube and look for Richie Rich intro. If you tried that in Eastern Europe, you wouldn't last long. Believe it or not, people have a sense of humor here. Like, they would actually laugh Like if someone tried pulling this shit in Eastern Europe, I would be like, just like starting to laugh there. Because you get the grift. You see what they're doing and you get the grift. So like if he actually did that to me, what I would do is I would pull my phone and play copyright music so that he can't stream. And I'll be like, little pug, what you gonna do now, huh? What you gonna do, little pug? Oh, listen to this commercial song. Listen to this Walt Disney intro. A whole new world. Little pug, what are you doing? What are you doing, little pug? Oh, you got banned? You got banned? See? Like, this is what Eastern Europeans would do. I don't care about the bodyguard. It's like, alright, it's fine. Bodyguard can't stop music. You can't stop the whole new world, black man. You can't stop it. Yeah, it's like... They're like people don't fuck with me because they know that I can just lower myself to their level. Yeah, like I would be confused for like the first 30 seconds or so, like trying to understand what the fuck is going on, and then when I realized, I'm like, eh. He can stop your smug face with a punch. Oh, I wish! That's a lawsuit! Holy fuck, can we imagine? Oh my goodness. Okay, so if Jack Dorothy's bodyguard punches you for no reason, you start a crowdfund, especially if it's on camera, if it's recorded. You start a crowdfund, and I guarantee to you, in less than a week, you are going to have more than $200,000. That is like the easiest money you would ever have. Like, I would be like, please, just freak out. Just do it. Do it. Come on. Little pug, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, little pug? Like the money from the donations alone is going to be more than whatever you can take from that bodyguard. Jack is an excellent driver. For those of you who don't know, he crashed his car. He was driving pretty fast in the rain, and he was also texting while driving. So he managed to wreck his car. Let's see if we can have that. So Jack Doherty crash. Oh no, I can't show it to you. Fuck. I can't show it to you because he copyrighted the thing. But I can show you the images, right? This is like the wreck. And the reason is because he was texting while driving. As you can see here, like right here. He's texting and driving. And not good, chat. Don't text and drive. Don't drive fast if there's rain, right? If you can see your reflection in the pave walk, don't speed. Yeah, little punk, what you gotta do? What you gotta do? Well, this is what he did. And then after the crash, he asked his friend if he is okay, and then asked the friend to start recording. Look, you gotta appreciate the man. It's like one man, one desire, to stream and entertain. no matter the weather, no matter the odds. Jack Doherty is going to show you the spice of life. Yeah, it's real. No, he actually had a car crash. Like there was blood and shit. They had an ambulance coming over. The main problem with it is that apparently this car is very expensive, but it's not about the money. Because from what I heard, even if you do have the money to buy like what this looks like, a pimp school bus or some shit, I don't fucking know, it looks horrible. But even if you have the money to buy, you gotta wait. Like, you get placed on a waiting list. I know that people say it looks horrible, V, you can't afford it. It's not the point. Like, there's an age when you become a family man, and this just doesn't interest you anymore. When I was younger, maybe I would say, well, this is cool. Now I'm like, I guess. I presume V was never involved in a fist fight. I was involved in a fist fight. I went to high school. But usually if I fight, I don't use my fists. I'm not a very strong person. So like if the need happens, I just look for a weapon. Yeah, I don't the need hasn't happened for more than a decade. But I'm just saying, like if someone just picks up on me on the street and I'm feeling myself in mortal danger or something, like I'm going to look around for anything. I'm not going to fight with my bare hands. I'm not a moron. Yeah, why the hell are people who support him? I don't know. Paint job was first wreck. The paint job was the first wreck. Oh my god. Yeah, fight smarter, not harder. V's like me. I know if I'm outmatched, I pick up a weapon. Well, I try to avoid fights. I never want to get in a fight. And I think like this is the same mindset. But like, let's say you have to. Like, there's no other way. Like, you know that there's a fight coming and you tried everything and you can't avoid it. Then pick up a weapon. What are you doing? It's like, make sure that it's over fast and then you get the hell away from there and you call the cops. That's what you do. Yeah, most fights should be avoided. Like here's the thing, you know, when you're a kid and you fight, I mean, the worst that can happen is you end up with the like. Even then, no. But there were cases actually, you know, like one kid ended up with like a broken arm or something. But very, very rare. Like they got in a scuffle and he fell and okay, fine. But like it was very rare. Usually, like you get bruises, right? You get a scratch. That's what happened in school. But when you're an adult, any fight can be lethal. Like you just don't know. It's because I've been to the hospital and I saw shit. And there were a lot of people. It's like, and they regret it because like I just got in a fight with my neighbor. I didn't want to kill him. It's like what? And it's for various reasons. Like when you become older, you're more stronger than you used to be, but your body is also weaker. Become a glass cannon. In Romanian lore, Moldavian use axes in fights, never fists. It's true in the rural area. In the rural area, they always bring the axe. They don't know how to throw it, but it looks like intimidating. Okay. Let me show you how they fight in Romania. Hold on. This is how they fight in my country.
Nu mă știu cu omul ei, să fac cu omul ei. Păi eu am treabă cu omul tău. Pleacă pa de aici, pa. Pleacă pa de aici.
Ai venit în față la doamnă și ai spus la dimineață?
Te-ai dus ai orațiu?
Dar ce trebuia să fie data de bani?
Păi dacă nu te faci un universe, tot acolo bani am înțeles.
Dar de unde te-a
Păi du-te, pleacă pa de aici, pa.
Ai și timp.
Ca chiar genie. Oleleu, de pe întâmplă mi-a, oleleu.
Think we don't have guns, but we got improvised weapons. I like the power up, like when she hits it on the ground, like that should be a power up. They're not my wives. Sniper. The thing is, I don't believe that she wanted to hit her. I think like, well, at least not in the head. I think like she just wanted to scare her. But, well. This is pretty mild. It is mild. No scope. Yeah, no scope. Charging up the stick. Charging up the stick. Infused with earth elemental damage. How about that? This is where she's infusing it with earth elemental. Hold on.
Dar ce trebuia să fie data de bani? Păi ai venit în față la doamnă și ai spus la dimineață?
That's it. The earth elemental damage right here.
Și ai spus la dimineață?
Apparently, like one of like she's accusing of degeneracy On the other lady, something with her man and drinking. So yeah, these girls are taking Arch's philosophy way too serious. Stick pound, strength 10%, aggro 10%. Anyway, chat, I need to go. So thank you for watching. Thank you for the super